It started a year ago, Doctor. I was in a near-fatal car accident on my way home from work. I was clinically dead for 5 minutes, they say. The rehab was long and grueling, but I thought I made it out of the woods. I was physically fine, great shape as a matter of fact. Everything was going good until a couple of months ago when Are you okay? The doctor asked. Yes, I'm fine, I said. All right, please continue when you're ready, said the doctor. I took a deep breath and continued. For the past couple of months, I've been seeing people who aren't there. What do you mean? The doctor asked. Are you talking about ghosts? I don't know what I mean. All I know is I see them. I see them on the streets, at work, whenever I go out. How do you know they're not real? The doctor asked. Because no one I'm with can see them. And they don't look like you and me. I see their injuries, their wounds, everything. People are starting to think I'm going mad. I don't know what to do. I'm starting to believe it myself. My family doctor recommended you. He said you're the best psychiatrist he knows. Please, doctor, I'm begging you, help me. Listen, my dear, you have experienced quite a lot over this past year. You survived a very serious accident after all. And that is the root of these problems you're facing. But Dr. Phillips, just because I went through something so traumatic doesn't explain why I'm seeing dead people, does it? There was a pause. My name's not Dr. Phillips, my dear, he said. I sat up on the couch and said, what are you talking about? As I turned my head back towards his desk, the door opened. It was the janitor. What are you doing in here? No one's supposed to be in here. What are you talking about? I said, I'm in the middle of my session with my doctor. As I turn and point towards the desk, see, he's right there. No one was there. Who have I been talking to this whole time? I thought to myself. My God, it's happening again. I looked at the janitor and said, I swear to God, I was just talking to my psychiatrist. It was our first session. Dr. Phillips is his name. Honey, Dr. Phillips' office is 3 doors down the hall. No one has had this office in quite some time. It belonged to a Dr. Roberts, but he died in a car accident about a year ago. I saw her on the first day of my course at USC, radiant like sunshine. She stood a little away from the rest of the groups, chewing on her pen absent-mindedly, notebooks held close to her chest. Instead of stress of the first day, she had the most beatific expression on her heart-shaped face. She looked my way and smiled, and I felt like I was wrapped in a warm hug. She came and sat beside me in the last row every day from then on. Her name was Trudy, and our furtive glances soon advanced into general chit-chat and eventual flirting. She laughed at my ill-hidden attempt to ask if she had a boyfriend, and then asked me out for a coffee. Our first date was beautiful. We chose a secluded spot in the park with overhanging fuchsias. I got us a couple of coffees, and we talked for hours. She was so engaged in our conversation that she didn't even touch her coffee. We started meeting regularly. Romantic long walks by the river in the moonlight, fun boat rides on the lake, comfortable long drives in my car. She had some diagnosed mental issues, and I came from a family of those. We understood the deepest hidden parts of each other, even the ugly ones, better than anyone else. She could read my mind as if she had known me forever. I felt a deep, soul-stirring connection, the kind when you kiss, you feel your beings meld into one. I didn't have many friends, but was always close to my sister. I decided it's time for them to meet. I introduced Drew, and the blood drained from my sister's face. She held me by the shoulders and said the most devastating words. "There is no one there, Alex. You are hallucinating like Mom." The last 6 months flashed before my eyes. How Drew never spoke with anyone else but me, never ate, never wanted pictures taken. It all clicked. I am on medication now and don't see her anymore. Even though I realized that she was just a figment of my imagination, why does it still feel like I lost my soulmate? Is it weird that I want her back? Hello, doctor. I am Trudy. My psychiatrist feels I will benefit from therapy. I was ghosted by my boyfriend Alex, or so I thought. Alex told me he will introduce me to his sister, and then disappeared. I called him at the number we had talked for hours earlier. The number didn't exist. When I asked around, I realized nobody at my class at NYU had seen him, ever. Apparently my dosage was not enough, and I had started hallucinating again. It was the most real hallucination of my life. Even though I realized that he was just a figment of my imagination, why does it still feel like I lost my soulmate? Is it weird that I want him back? I'm a psychiatrist who works out of his home. I don't know where it went wrong, but I've lost my passion. I'm down to 3 patients, and they all make me want to rip their goddamn hair out. At 8 a.m., I notice Sarah, my first appointment, approaching. "How are you today?" Sarah suffers from PTSD after her mother abandoned her. "Not good, doctor. I'm crying myself to sleep. I've tried." She keeps talking, but I drown her out until she stops. Jesus, no wonder Mommy left. She won't shut up. I check the time and see I've been saved by the bell. "We'll have to continue this in our next session, Sarah. My next appointment is here." She nods and walks away as my next patient approaches the doorway. "Henry, how's it going with your wife?" Henry was 52 and worked as a cashier. He discovered his wife cheating on him with a younger man. "Awful," he sobs. "I've tried, but she won't hear it. She won't leave him. And I drowned him out too, as he keeps talking. I sigh and imagine what his face would look like if it were bashed in until it were unrecognizable. But I stop, and just before I speak, my third patient knocks on my door. "Sorry, Henry, we'll have to stop short today." Still sobbing, he leaves the room, and my last patient, Mr. Hutchins, approaches. I call him the Candy Man because every session he forces me to eat candy. "Here, take these," he says. I swallow them, and within minutes, feel myself begin to change. The frustration I felt from dealing with my first 2 patients seemed to subside. The room turns white, and I notice I'm wearing a gown. What the hell was in that candy, Mr. Hutchins? Where am I? I began to feel panicked. "Dr. Parsons, nice of you to join us today. You were at the Texas State Hospital. Do you remember?" His words sound insane, but I gaze around and see he's telling the truth. "You were sent here after the crimes you committed." "Crimes? You don't remember? Sarah, Henry, those were patients of yours. You murdered them in cold blood." I start crying as it all comes back to me. Images begin to flood my brain of Sarah being impaled with a knife, my body covered in her blood. I see poor Henry laying on my office floor, his skull shattered into pieces. But I just saw them. No, you're here alone. That's why I've been giving you these pills. You've developed dissociative identity disorder and have assumed the personalities of your victims. You've been talking to yourself. The thought of being haunted by them every day is torture. I cover my head and scream until I tire myself out. In the morning I tell myself it's going to be a better day than the last. Then there's a knock on the door. That must be Sarah. She's usually my first appointment.